co-hosting with me today. But thank you for joining Wednesday Wisdom, which is our virtual series that is designed to push out small nuggets of information to our members. So we thought it very fitting as we're coming up on the season of gratitude that we step back and um, learn some tips on how to be grateful. And so we've got our corporate partner, Trustbridge, joining us this afternoon, Miss Ebony Massey. And Trustbridge is a corporate partner of the Chamber, and which means that they believe in our mission and they have pledged their support. So without further ado, I am going to introduce Miss Massey, and then she's going to take the floor. Ms. Ebony Massey is employed as an external educator for Trustbridge Hospice. She has over 19 years of experience in many aspects of nursing, including nurse management experience, assistant director of nursing, and interim director of nursing. Um, so, Miss Massey, in her spare time, she enjoys volunteering with the National Coalition of Negro Women, I believe that is, and the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. So I'm going to turn it over to Miss Massey. You have the floor. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. As Ms. Taylor said, I am Ebony Massey, and I am employed as an external educator with Trustbridge Hospice. Today's presentation is geared towards the approaching holiday season. We know that the holiday that's fastly approaching is Thanksgiving, but today we're going to talk about Thanksgiving, which is discovering the positive attitude of gratitude, which can go a long way during this time of year. Now we know gratitude is a powerful human emotion, which is associated with pleasure. It derives from the Latin word gratia, which means gratefulness or thankfulness. Now, there is some tension between what we want and what we have, especially in the light of the pandemic that's going on. We may not have access to things that we find comfort in. We are practicing social distancing. So sometimes we have not physically met in person. You know, we're meeting on a lot of virtual platforms, but we still haven't physically met in person to explore that camaraderie that we have in different groups and organizations that we may be a part of. Sometimes the pursuit of happiness is both endless and exhausting. We are approaching also New Year's, which is a time that a lot of people take to self-reflect, to reinvent themselves, decide on what tasks they want to achieve for the next year or what goals they want to achieve for the next year. And so sometimes we find ourselves in that loop of the continuous pursuit of happiness. But I would like everybody just to take a moment to consider and appreciate what you already have. Now, this could be good health, your family, your faith-based connection, your friends, or just be appreciative of the basic needs that you have right now that are being met. So keep that thought in your mind. Now, how does gratitude work? You know, sometimes gratitude can help in building and maintaining meaningful relationships, whether that's through partnership, through organizations, professional partnerships, as well as your personal relationships in your life. Gratitude can aid in coping with adversity, which is what we're going through now in our environment, as well as finding strength and motivation in difficult seasons. Gratitude, regardless of how it is expressed, is associated with a thought of happiness. So whether we're giving thanks, experiencing feelings of encouragement or satisfaction are soon to follow, especially when you tend to reach out and help others. It's not necessarily a point of providing a service for them, which is, you know, satisfaction, but you also find self-satisfaction in the task of helping someone else. Now, there is a connection between gratitude and happiness. Expressing gratitude to others as well as yourself can create thoughts of positivity. So it can lift your mood. Oftentimes, we take for granted that around this time of year, it brings thoughts of happiness or pleasure to everyone. But the holiday season can be rough for some people, especially if you are a person who is self-isolated frequently, which we have found in the light of the pandemic, where we're not socializing as much. Sometimes bad memories or a traumatic event can be associated with the holidays. So it doesn't bring pleasurable thoughts to mind when you think about Christmas, Thanksgiving, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever it is that you're celebrating that's approaching. It may not necessarily be a positive or a thought or memory of happiness. So simple things like writing a thank you note can help improve your mood, or giving your own self a compliment. Sometimes we seek compliments from others, but you can compliment yourself. You can do reflective journaling. Journaling can be very cathartic around this time of year if you're having thoughts that may not be a positive or a thought of happiness. And when you're writing in your journaling, it's not to share with anyone else. It's just a way of you expressing your own thoughts and ideas and how you're feeling. The effect of gratitude does have lasting effects on your brain. Besides enhancing self-love and empathy, gratitude can significantly impact your body functions as well as your psychological condition, like stress, anxiety, depression. It can help alleviate all of those things. Gratitude can release toxic emotions. Sometimes we don't realize when we're stressed or we have a lot of anxiety, you can carry it in your neck and your shoulders. So sometimes when you have that tension, it can be associated with toxic emotions that can be related to the holiday season. It has been found to reduce levels of pain. That usually when you are experiencing thoughts of gratitude or happiness, your perception of pain then changes. Whereas when you are depressed and you have stress and anxiety, your level and perception of pain may also intensify. It can improve your quality of sleep. Sometimes we toss and turn at night during the holiday season, but those thoughts or expressions of happiness or being helpful to another person can also improve your quality of sleep because it decreases, again, your stress and anxiety. Increased negative energy can also dampen your gratitude, your outlook on gratitude, I should say, and how you perceive your pursuit of happiness. So we have to do sometimes some self-reflection, and we have to make a conscious effort now to have positive thoughts, because it can be easy to have negative thoughts, but we do have to find a way to find that silver lining. Even in the moment of adversity, there is opportunity for improvement and growth. The area of the brain which regulates emotions are activated with feelings of gratitude. Feeling of thankfulness can promote emotional health, as we talked about, as well as provide quicker recovery for those of you who may not be feeling well during this season. A study conducted on individuals seeking mental health guidance showed that in a group who wrote letters of gratitude, in addition to their regular counseling sessions, also felt better and had a quicker recovery time. So those of you who may be going through illnesses or ailments, and you're seeking therapy sessions, whether it be physical therapy, occupational therapy, or some form of mental health counseling, having those outward manifestations or expressions of gratitude, from the study has shown that it does improve your recovery time. Your outlook of positivity also can affect your ability to recoup or bounce back quicker as well when you're facing an ailment. Acts of kindness have been shown to activate the area of the brain that's responsible for sleep. It also increases your endorphins, which what we like to call that happy hormone. Those of you who may exercise or who are avid runners, sometimes they refer to it as having a runner's high, or you have a very cheerful outlook after you finish exercising. You may feel that you can now conquer the world. You're ready to take on the day. Thoughts of gratitude also works on that part of the brain that releases those hormones. So in essence, it can brighten your mood and make you feel more empowered. It can make you feel more positive. It also can make you feel more productive throughout the day. Gratitude research has shown that thankful people have a higher level of energy, excuse me, as well as being more impactful in their community. How can you apply it to your life? Reflect on positive things before going to bed or upon rising. Starting your day with those positive moments of reflection can impact, your feelings for the entire day. Create a gratitude journal, as we talked about, as well as jot down 3 things every day that you can be thankful for. And it can be small things, it doesn't have to necessarily be big things. When we think about having an attitude of gratitude, we immediately go to our material possessions, such as our homes, our cars, those types of things that have a monetary value. But your items of gratitude can be very small. You're thankful that you received a hug from your child today, or you heard from a friend today that you haven't spoken to in a long time. You were able to make an amends for a broken relationship, that you haven't been able to resolve, but you were able to resolve that today. Those are kind of things that you can jot down to be grateful for that we sometimes take for granted. Being helpful to other people can also help satisfy their need or their search for happiness as well, and in their pursuit of gratitude. So make each day an opportunity to give back and to be thankful. Reflect on what you have, who you love, and who you're loved by, as well as other opportunities that you can afford others. That is it for today. Do I have any questions about gratitude and how it can affect our life, or how we can be helpful to others who may be suffering from the holiday blues around this time of year? Hi, Mr. Bruce, good to see you again.
Good to see you too. I don't know if I have a question on it as much as I have a comment. So thank you for your presentation. It's very helpful. And I know just in the space of a small business owner myself and many others that I try to help and assist, they definitely are going through this roller coaster ride of emotional whirlwinds and different levels of stress and how to cope with them because they're dealing with stuff that is affecting them each day. How am I going to keep my place open, and how am I going to pay my staff and my bills, and et cetera, et cetera. But I always tend to lean towards something I practice myself. In doing so, just trying to manage stress. Like you say, you have to have a little outlet, and really, I think it has a lot to do with the tone of your mental state of mind. I mean, if you're a person who thinks about gloom and doom all the time, well, then that's how you're going to feel, like gloom and doom. But if you get up every morning, much to what you've been presenting, with I guess a ray of optimism in your life, and sharing that with somebody, and it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody that but just a random act of kindness and just being a giver, I think helps us to cope. And so, what do you find as the most common contributors, if you've had this experience in dealing with small business owners? What are the most common, contributors to their mental well-being?
I think exactly what you spoke to, the stability of their business. Especially with the approaching holidays with Black Friday, that would be a time of year that a lot of business owners who especially sold merchandise will look forward to, because that's when they usually have their biggest profit margins. You have a lot of unknown this year because you have a decrease in in-person shopping. Individuals are not spending as much as they would normally do because you're trying to save, because we still have the unknown that's approaching. You do have an increase of online shopping, which is the silver lining maybe for some individuals. But I find with business owners is always that fluctuation of a level of stress each month, to meet payroll. Am I going to be able to stay afloat and pay my rental space? I would say finding again that outlet, especially when you know that it affects your staff. As a business owner, I know sometimes we try to shield your staff from your concerns or your worries, but they feel it too. Even though you may not express it, they feel it. But find a way to have those moments of gratitude, even when celebrating them. Small things go a long way. A thank you for your hard work. We're going to do the best that we can to stay open for an additional 3 months. That level of transparency also encourages trust. But again, for a business owner, it is finding that moment of self-care, because a lot of times business owners neglect themselves. So find time to, again, like you said, find that outlet, because you do have to have an outlet to decrease your level of stress. Try to look for the silver lining, which can be hard at times. I won't, give the impression that it's easy, but you do try to look for that level of silver lining, as well as having that attitude of gratitude to trickle down to your employees. And usually if it goes to your employees, it'll, transfer to your customers as well. Usually happy employees have positive interactions with employees, whenever they occur. But thank you so much for that observation. That was very good.
Thank you.
Any other comments or contributions or questions?
This is Keely. I have a question. With with the current pandemic upon us, and many of us have been working remotely and have been away from.
Can't hear you, Keely.
So with regards to the pandemic, and many of us have been working remotely, we've been away from our coworkers, our colleagues, our families, and so forth. Is what um, specific um, thoughts can you share regarding that of how to stay positive?
How to stay positive, I can speak for myself, is that I have to wake up today and choose to be positive. I have to make that conscious effort to not look at the glass is half empty, but it's half full. And what can I do to still enjoy my environment or my surroundings? Just like we have Thanksgiving that's approaching, in my family, Thanksgiving is a really big holiday. It's the one time where everyone comes home to Florida from no matter where you are, internationally or within the States. Everybody will make that pilgrimage home to South Florida for Thanksgiving. So this year we're going to have the unique experience that we're going to try to do a Zoom Thanksgiving dinner. So we're going to see how that works. But again, that's us choosing to find a way to still maintain that connection, even though we're far away. So with individuals who are now participating in, distance learning, or you're working from home, you're working remotely. Some individuals love working remotely. For me, it was an adjustment because part of my socialization was work. Monday morning, I used to talk about what I did on the weekend. We would share stories about family. Anytime someone's child had a fundraiser, here's the box of candy in the office and they're selling it. So it was an adjustment for me. But you still have to choose to think about the positive things. Even though I'm working remotely, I'm still blessed that I have a job. Some individuals, can't say the same. Even though I may have less hours at work, I still am getting some hours. I still have my health benefits. So again, it's trying to find that silver lining within the doom and gloom, or sometimes we go down that hole of depression and we have to fight our way back out. So, and it's one step at a time. So I would say it's a choice. To be positive is a choice. To have attitude of gratitude is a choice. So think about the small things that you still have in your life that you can appreciate. Thank you, Ms. Keeley.
I am not on video, but I hope you can hear me. My name
Yes.
is Liz. I find that if you can find a song to sing or a joke, because we get so serious and somber and stay away from the news for a while, then the day will go way better. And if you find a really good joke and you can share it with somebody, then you can lighten their day a little bit. And it's so much. There's so much to give thanks for, and so much to praise the great Father for. So it's every day we wake up, let's choose to give thanks that our eyes are open, that we can get out of bed without somebody taking us out of it. We can sit in a chair without somebody having to assist us, or even walk the dog, whatever it is, or the sun just shining on your face where people are in snow right now and we're still having snow, still having sun. So I find that the little things, and sometimes you go back to the childish things. Like this morning, I was listening to a Rudyard Kipling fable. And it was like, how did the elephant get its trunk? And it was so funny. And I'm thinking, oh my God, where did we miss all these things that we grew up on and forgot all about them? And just to read the stupid story just made my day.
Mhm. That is so true. Humor does go a long way with especially lifting your mood. It's hard to answer or speak in wrath or anger when you're laughing. So oftentimes the customer service, they would always, prompt us to smile before you answer the phone. And you would think, why did the caller can't see me. Why am I smiling before I answer the phone? Because just smiling, it automatically, or laughing automatically lifts your spirit. It lifts your tone of voice. You sound cheerful, even if you don't necessarily feel that way. So humor, you're exactly right. Humor does go a long way.
Yes, it does.
And this is Thea Sullivan from Valley. If I can just add what I've just started doing, and I'm used to traveling. I cover the state of Florida, and I'm a people person. So I like meeting people and having those in-person conversations. But I've discovered Zoom makes a wonderful happy hour. And so I've gotten together with my teammates, and the last time we were getting together, I said, okay, here's a question. Come ready to the Zoom to tell about your funniest banking story. And then we get together, we have our glass of wine, and we just sit and talk. And believe it or not, you still get that connection. You're laughing, you're talking. As a matter of fact, my teammates, I'm the only one in Florida for my department. They're in Alabama, New York, and New Jersey. And probably if we hadn't had the pandemic, we wouldn't have even discovered Zoom to have these kind of events. So it's pushed us to think outside the box. And last Friday, I scheduled a Zoom cocktail meeting with one of the executives and another person. And every Friday, I have a Zoom lunch with my HR people. So it's thinking outside the box, realizing that this could be the new norm for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And what can I do to make it better for me? And then implementing those ideas. And let me just tell you, there's so much stuff out there. I think if we all give it some thought, we can stay pretty busy. And you can still shop, ladies. You can still shop. Do it online.
Mm-hmm.
I
Exactly.
have a question for Ms. Sullivan, if I may. I want to go back to what you said about the cocktail hour online. I'm just curious to know
No, Bruce, I don't.
At what point do you lose control of that Zoom cocktail hour? Because after a few glasses of wine or whatever, I don't know. When do you lose control?
Well, let me just say, I don't let it get to that point. I think we all know our limits and abide by them. But it is nice to just have that where you can talk about how the week was, or talk about how the month was, and change the climate to not to be so serious, but to share it. Some of us sometimes when we have a bad weekend. Like Ebony, I was the type of person, when I went on Monday, we were discussing the first hour with our coffee, what we did over the weekend.
Mhm.
So it's the cocktail hour that just gives you that opportunity to release and to have those discussions. So uh, if you need somebody to have a Zoom cocktail meeting with, Bruce, I can set it up for you. And let me just add now, right about now, Costco has some of the best eggnog you ever want to taste. It's the Kirkland brand. It's got spice rum, whiskey, and brandy in it. Delicious. And it's wonderful for a cocktail hour.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
She's
You-
mentioned it a
and-
couple times, so
you-
I've got to get to that store. It's
Please
Frida.
do.
It's Frida, and thank you so much. This has really been good. This has really been good information. Not only can I take something away from it, but I can share it with my teammates as well. Because I can be quite honest with you. I have felt so disassociated, so disconnected. And so you've given me some really good food for thought, and I thank you. And thank you, Thais, because honey, I'm heading over to Costco.
But thank you so much. That is a wonderful idea though, Ms. Thais. And I like that you drove home the point of you chose to think out of the box. And that's what we're faced with. We're gonna have to find creative ways of still connecting, even though we're kind of disconnected in a way. But that was a good point that you have your counterparts that were in different parts of the country, and Zoom has allowed you all to connect when and under traditional circumstances, you may have not have had that opportunity. So it can also establish new relationships, even though we are far apart. But I'm going to take that happy hour idea back. I think that's a wonderful idea.
It works. And I even had one organization that we normally meet at a conference and have dinner. They take us to dinner. And because of the pandemic, we weren't able to do that this year. The conference was online. So the organization sent us all $25 gift certificates for Whole Foods
Oh,
to be able to get our meal and our drink. And we met by Zoom and had a nice meeting by Zoom. So
that's good. And sometimes when individuals are like in their home setting, they're a little bit more comfortable. You know, they kind of let their hair down. So
mhm.
they talk and socialize sometimes a little bit more than they would normally have in a face-to-face interaction. And what I also find too with utilizing Zoom or other virtual platforms, our attendance usually increases, because it doesn't mean I have to get in a car and drive anywhere or I have to book a flight, you know, rent a hotel room. All I have to do is sit in front of the computer, tablet or laptop or computer, whatever it is that I have, and dial in. So our numbers have increased that way too.
Yeah.
There seems to be one common thread every time you comment, and it's drinks. I think you stated it 3 times. So, you know, you make it tough on the designated drivers.
Let me just say this. If you all were to see my house, you would say, my goodness, she must be an alcoholic. And that's a whole nother segment. I am not. And it just so happened somebody mentioned to my mom how good this particular eggnog was. And they only sell it during this time of the year. And so we just decided to try it. Well, 20 bottles later, it is very good.
Okay, so we've gotten some helpful information from Miss Massey and from Miss Sullivan. So thank you for that commercial for BJ's. So I'm going to call for last question for Miss Massey before we get to some introductions, and I turn it over to Miss Thomas. Do we have any last questions for Miss Massey? Okay. Hearing none, on behalf of the Black Chamber, I want to thank you for presenting to our group today. Thank you to Trustbridge. Before you go, I do want to call out, we do have some board members on the line. We've got Mr. Bruce Lewis, Miss Leontine Brown, Mr. Marlon White, Frida Lucas, Thea Sullivan, um, and our chair, Mr. Frank Hayden, who we'll hear from in a moment. But I'm going to turn it over to Miss Tracy Thomas at this time, and she's going to share about membership.
Thank you all for having me again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keely. Just wanted to just jump on here real quick. We was hoping to have our newest member on, in case I missed, maybe I missed Cedric. Yep, is he on, maybe on the call? We just wanted to have a part on the agenda to welcome our newest members, and Cedric Yap with Cook, Fish, and Chicken. We had a grand opening on Saturday. New location. This is actually their second location off of Okeechobee and Military Trail. They also have one off of Belvedere. But yeah, we wanted to just welcome our newest member, Cedric, with Cooks, Fish, and Chicken. You guys make sure to stop by their new location in the Ross Plaza off of Military in Okeechobee. That's it.
Thank you, Tracy. Well, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Hayden to close us out. And again, we thank you for participating. Actually, before I turn it over to Mr. Hayden, I want to just share, join us on December 2nd. Oh, actually, November 25th is the next Wednesday Wisdom, and we're still working that agenda. But on December 6th, December 2nd, we're going to come back and have some helpful tips for preparing for your 2020 tax return. So, Mr. Hayden, you have the floor.
Thank you, Keely. Ms. Massey, thank you so very much for your comments today. I think we all, under these times, get stressful. I got a shout out to my homegirl from Detroit. We know how to deal with stress, don't we, homegirl? So thank you, though, for that. We appreciate it tremendously. You with Trustbridge, you all have been a good supporter and a partner with us at the Black Chamber. So we're always delighted to have you as part of our presentations, because each time you always bring some worthwhile information to our members and to those who happen to be on the call. And Ms. Keely, as usual, you have put together another outstanding event for today that is very rewarding to our members. So thank you for what you do. And I'm sorry I missed the grand opening Saturday, but I think for lunch today, I'm going to head over there and see if I can help financially with them. Hooks is one of my favorite places to hang out. I hope my wife's not on this so she knows my secret. But listen, this was great. Again, thank those who have participated. And I think the most important thing, though, is you need to become a member of the Black Chamber if you are not. These are just some of the services that we offer. So if you're looking for a home, come be a part of our home at the Black Chamber. Thanks again, Keely. I truly appreciate what you do for us.
Thank you, and thank Tracy. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Bye. Very good. Very good timing. Perfect timing. You're on mute. Unmute your phone.
Okay, so 12:38. So it wasn't too bad.